I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Next Issue podcast. I played that because it was Netflix week, Geek Week this week, and I was like, well, we don't have any Netflix type of openings except the now canceled,
the one canceled show.
Yeah, except the one canceled show. But it's okay. Opening's still a banger, so it applies.
That music is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best. Seatbelts forever.
Show, yeah. On today's show, as you guys may have seen, we were, as we do sometimes, struggling to find the topic. But then I saw that this week it was Karl Urban's birthday, and I was like, "Oh, well, let's just fucking talk about Karl Urban." So if at some point during the show I call either one of you guys the C word, just know that I mean it as a term of endearment, like they do in New Zealand.
Yes.
So that's why we have the boys opening here. So which
Nice.
also
So
gives
good.
me an excuse to talk about the boys. I know you guys aren't current, but man, this season's been bonkers. So I want to make sure at some point to convince y'all to catch up.
Well, I told you I thought I hadn't seen season 2, but I think I might have now. So I don't know. I've just been out of it this week, but I'm just going to jump into season 3.
That they do a pretty good enough job to give you all the points you need to catch up, because they know, right? They know that not everyone's gonna go back and watch everything again, or it maybe even because it has been. It also feels like some of these things they feel like it's been a while for a lot of these. So, but before we get to that, we're going to talk about some of the other stuff we've been doing and watching and all that. So, Clay, why don't you kick us off?
Oh my gosh. Are you ready to start super weird?
Oh yes, always.
Is the audience ready? That's real.
Okay, it is early on a Sunday. Let's get fucking weird, man.
Let's do it.
The last drive-in on Shudder had 2 of the best back-to-back movies ever because they were just so messed up and disturbing. First up was Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker from 1981 that starred Kristen McNichol's brother. That's how bad I remember this movie. It is so disturbing and creepy about a woman. Oh man, I don't know how much I want to get into, but let's just say a woman has a son, pretends to be his aunt and raises him, drugs him in his milk, and then at one point in the movie gives him a nice tongue bath.
I saw the tweet about that. I was like, I'm not sure I want to read this or watch this.
It is batshit crazy, and I love it. If you have Shudder, if you don't have Shudder, get Shudder. Watch Joe Bob's version of it because he helps go through and it's not Peter McNichol. Jesus Christ, I can't believe my brain's so fried this morning. Who the star was, but the real star is the mom/aunt, who just has scenes of pure insanity where she's like cutting off her hair, or she just can throw a switch and just turn on the crazy eyes. Like it, oh my God. I hadn't seen this movie ever. It was so damn good because it just messed me up. Like, I knew the second movie coming in was called The Baby. Have y'all ever seen The Baby?
No.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna let you know it is fair for you to assume that I've never seen any of the movies you talk about from that show.
Okay. So the plot of this movie is really weird, but this family is hiring a babysitter to come in and take care of their baby. And when the babysitter gets in, she is watching a full adult man in a diaper who is a child.
Oh, I saw that on 30. Was it not 30 Rock? It was
Oh, yeah.
It was Broad City on Comedy Central.
No. This man was mentally, he was an infant in his mind. He wasn't pretending to be like Fred Armisen did in Broad City.
Right. Good.
He was, the women in his life had done something to his mind. So he was just a child, and they cared for him. And then sometimes they cared for him a little too much. Wink, wink. Which was very disturbing. And then
I don't know what that means.
His sister comes into his room, and he has a giant crib that opens up like a car door because he's a man.
Hell yeah.
And you just see the nightie fall by the side of the crib as she gets in.
Oh no.
Yeah. This is some women taking out revenge on men. And you're just like I'm gonna go ahead and spoil the ending because I know none of you are gonna watch it. If someone is listening and they go, "Oh, I don't want to hear the twist at the end," tune out for about 10 seconds. I'm gonna spoil it. 3, 2, 1. The babysitter kidnaps the baby, thinking she's rescuing him, when she's taking him to another den where they have another person that they fucked his head up so that she can have 2 babies.
So ultimately, the babysitter is the villain here. Is that
all the women are just they have broken all these men, and they're just anyhow, that was that doesn't tell you on Shutter. I don't know what else will.
He's like, I have a question.
Follow up here. Follow up from the Chronicle here. Is there a theme to these nights for the show? Like
sometimes, yeah.
Because this one seems to be pretty thematic.
Yeah. I tweeted out an incest is the best. Try it with your brother tweet during this, because that what was going on in this film. It was just fucking weird. It was so. But what's wild, like even in the first movie, Bo Stevenson is like this cop who's just this piece of shit cop, accusing people of being gay and pulling guns on people. Just the most. The wildest portrayal of a cop I've ever seen, next to Bad Lieutenant, like on that level.
Yeah, that's because you haven't seen Gerard Butler in Cop Shop.
No, I did see Cop Shop.
Oh, you the one that told me about it.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah, this one, cannot be topped. But that was Friday night on Shudder, so I will. I don't think I can outdo that. I'll have to pass it to one of you guys.
Is that what they call a tongue lashing when like somebody warns you about that?
Oh, dude, that tongue all over his face, and he's just
God.
All right, well, Josh, you got anything wholesome that we can cleanse our brains with?
I mean,
you know what? I do. Let me jump.
I kind of do, but no, you go ahead.
Let's talk about Under the Banner of Heaven.
Wholesome? That's your wholesome?
Yeah.
Well, it would appear to be. So I got one thing that's actually wholesome and one that is not. So I watched. I finally finished Under the Banner of Heaven season 1. This is, for those that don't know, this is the Andrew Garfield show on Hulu. It's 8 episodes, and it's like a detective thriller, but it takes place inside of the Mormon community in Utah. So Andrew Garfield's playing a member of the community that also happens to be a detective. So it's really interesting look. It's based on a book that obviously I haven't read it because it's a book.
Have pictures.
But man, I mean I think on the cover and that's about it. But it was really really interesting. I really liked it. Andrew Garfield's great, and then the cast is fucking bananas. Like everyone is in this show, and I wish I had pulled up the list, but like you'll see it. Like what's his name? He plays the U.S. agent Russell Wyatt. Russell Wyatt's in it. The guy from one of the Terminator movies that's not very good. He's Sam Worthington's in it.
Oh yeah.
Macaulay Culkin's brother. I forget all their names. Here we go. Rory Culkin's in it. Daisy Edgar Jones from that movie Fresh with Sebastian Stan.
Oh wow, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, as you start watching the show, you're like, oh shit, this person from this show and this person from this show. So it's pretty incredible, but it's just really well made, and it starts like just a regular, unsolved murder, and then it kind of devolves into like this whole exploration of the, I guess, the extremist from the LDS Church. What I think they're called the fundamentalist or something like that. So man, it is super intense. I was only watching one episode like per day just to have some time in between. But if you like those kind of detective thriller things, like maybe something like True Detective or something like that, but obviously this has a little bit of a different tone to it because of all the religious stuff. But it's very interesting. But now for the wholesome thing, nobody told me that Mr. Mayor got a season 2.
Yeah, we watched most of season 2. I thought you knew.
I thought I did too, because I was watching Young Rock, and I think they were both coming out at the same time. For some reason, Hulu never told me, like, hey, this other show you were also watching, it's now all here. So, yeah, I binged Mr. Mayor, and man, I love that show. It's so funny. It grabs, like, it's made by the same people that made 30 Rock. So like, it has a lot of that little offbeat comedy. Bobby Moynihan is great. Ted Danson is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
And the constant, we kind of felt like season 2 was getting closer to that sort of 30 Rock kind of humor more than season 1. But it never quite, for us, like, or for me at least, gelled as much as like 30 Rock did. It's still good. It's fun. It didn't get renewed though, did it? Like it's over.
Didn't. Yeah.
No, I think it's done, which sucks because it left on a big cliffhanger on season 2.
Of course.
I didn't. I watched the first episode and I was like, this just seems like very California-based kind of humor. Like it's very localized, and I was just like, I didn't get the same 30 level vibe. How long before y'all got the 30 level vibe in the show?
I think.
You go ahead, Danny. Sorry.
Well, to me, it really brings it along with the music and how kind of like jaded the characters are in that show. Like you said, I think the thing about 30 Rock is that they were so kind of separated from reality, except for like Liz Lemon, like she was kind of our anchor to the show. In this one, we don't really have an anchor like that. It's just everyone's a little bit jaded, and it's public office, but like the music stings are just it must be the same person that did the music for 30 Rock.
I think so, because it's for fuck's sake,
Tina Fey's husband.
Thank you. Those are the exact words I was searching for. I was like, who plays Liz Lemon? For me, it took getting season 2, honestly, because I feel like season 1 was trying a little too hard. Like, if you watch the first episode, they seem to be setting up Ted Danson as a kind of like Trump style politician. And then I think they tap dance back away from that by episode 2. They're like, nah, we really don't want to do that, And so, and I feel like Holly Hunter's character was
Oh,
supposed to
yeah.
be our anchor. But then she just, I mean, because she's Holly Hunter, she's brilliant. She just doubles down on the weird.
Yeah.
And so by season 2, it starts, I felt like it started getting wackier and wackier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think season 1 they also wanted to make it more about the chief of staff and follow her story, but I feel like they realized that maybe you have Tim Dance and Holly Hunter in the show, like you have to focus on their back and forth, which is kind of where the show left us off, right?
Yeah.
Slight spoiler: there's a recall election, so like everyone's back in the race. So really interesting because they bring it back to that. The last thing I'll touch on real quick, and this is just for a very niche audience, which maybe not that niche. It's a very popular movie, but
I'm
if
sorry,
you like
did
how
you
movies
hear
are
me
made,
talking about the weird movies I talked about?
yeah, right. If you like seeing how movies are made, or at least a dramatized version of it, or if you're a fan of The Godfather, I've caught up on The Offer, which is the story of how The Godfather, the movie, was made, and man, it is so good. This is on Paramount Plus, so if you don't have that, then you wait around till you have to watch your next Star Trek thing, and then watch it at the same time. But it is so good. Miles Teller is really great, and then just the cast. The same person that plays. She's in what's the Coach Lasso, Ted Lasso show. She's like the PR person / model /
Juno Temple.
Yeah, she's in the show too as the assistant to Already.
She's awesome producer. In everything she does.
Yeah, she's really great. And even the head of Paramount, like the guy who plays Bob Evans, I don't know the name of the actor, but I should not like this person that is so disconnected and rich, but he's just so charismatic.
Isn't that Matthew Good?
Maybe. Here, let me pull up. It's almost as if we should prepare for these shows.
Yeah, Robert Evans is played by Matthew Good, Ozymandias.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
He gets lost in that role because I didn't even recognize that it was him. And then, of course, Dan Fogler as Coppola. Like, I mean, he's amazing. He's
awesome, but the look is just like, I don't know, like it looks like a bad cosplay.
You get past that because when we meet I forget everyone's name. Not Michael Corleone, the guy that plays the Godfather, Marlon Brando. When we meet the guy that plays Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, like those two guys, I mean, I know what they look like. I know how they move and they sound like. So at first it's a little jarring, like getting to see people that are real life people being portrayed by actors. But then like something just kind of flips and you kind of just get lost in the world that they've set up and you're like, yeah, this is them. And like you said, Dan Fogler, Giovanni Ribisi's playing Joe Colombo, which was like he was one of the
heads of the family
gangsters, but he was like a real life person that was actually in New York kind of running things. Yeah, it's really great. I'm really enjoying it. And next week is the finale, so we'll see if the movie gets made.
How many episodes is it?
It's only 10.
Damn.
And then at the end of
hour-long episodes?
Yeah, about so.
Wow. Damn.
I could just go watch The Godfather.
You can watch all the Godfathers.
This starts. It goes back to when before even Already was a producer. So that's where the first episode starts. And then people in the know, like he did Hogan's Heroes, and that's kind of how he got into the which I've never seen Hogan's Heroes, but now I kind of want to just to see like what was the show. It's an old sitcom. Fuck off, both of you.
That was hands down my dad's favorite show was Hogan's Heroes. If I went over to his house, he most likely was watching Hogan's Heroes.
Okay,
so
I want to check it out just to know like what was the show that got him in the door.
Here's what you do: you go watch Hogan's Heroes, and then go watch the movie with. Help me out here, Clay. I'm sure you know.
I know. I'm trying to look it up. It's about Bob Crane, right?
It's about Bob Crane, and it's got the guy. Oh God, I can't think of.
Soup.
Yep, and he plays Bob Crane, and then it's got Defoe as his weirdo friend. It's like photo shoot.
Autofocus.
Autofocus. Okay.
Autofocus. It's from 2002, and you get to find out Bob Crane was a super weirdo. He was really into porn, making porn, watching porn. And there's even a scene of him and his buddy just hanging out watching porn, and it is uncomfortable.
Oh, yes. That whole movie.
I was going to say, like, I think everyone's a little into porn, but not about making it. That's the next level.
That's the weird part. Like, I think he was beat to death by his camera. I think that was how he died.
Right. So it kind of ends on the mystery of how did Bob Crane die. So
yeah. So if you want to watch Hogan's Heroes, start with autofocus.
Okay. Sure. But yeah, that was it. So yeah, I've been catching up on some series, but I'll throw it up to Josh, and we'll come back for more stuff.
All right. I mean, in terms of like non-comic media, the one thing I watched recently, and I was delighted to find it because I heard it was coming out, and I thought it was going to be like a theatrical release. It's a documentary called Kids in the Hall Comedy Punks. And because Amazon has the new show, it's streaming there. Now, what's kind of weird is they break it up into 2 1-hour-long episodes, which it is fine. I mean, because where they break it up, it's a natural kind of narrative point to do that. But it is fascinating. I thought I knew a lot about the kids. I didn't know anything. They rely a lot, like, you know, if you like the Kids in the Hall, but you want to actually hear from Paul Bellini, who always shows up as Man in Towel. I did not realize he was like a writer on the show. I knew he was like friends with them and connected. I just didn't know what his role was. He talks a lot. What's really amazing is he had a video camera back when they first started in the early 80s. And so there's a lot of like vintage footage of them performing on stage at the Rivoli. And I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just say one thing about it that blew me away. Towards the end of the second hour, and it comes out of nowhere. I'm like, why are they waiting till now to talk about this? They bring up the fact that Scott Thompson survived a school shooting in Canada in the 1970s. Yeah, whoa. I made the exact same expression Clay's making right now.
I didn't even know there were school shootings in Canada.
No, I know, exactly. I didn't either. And he talks about it, and then it leads into something that happens kind of later in their career. And I was bawling by the end of it. Like, it is just, it gets so heartfelt and so beautiful. There is a moment with Bruce McCullough talking about Scott that I mean, he tears up in it, and then immediately like the waterworks just come, because you're like, oh my God. It is so great to see them back together. And I did not realize how fractured they got when Dave Foley went to news radio. Like, it basically, really? It basically ruined his and Kevin's like deep friendship, because Kevin felt so betrayed. And they talk about that. I mean, it's a phenomenal documentary. It's really, really good.
Wow. I never knew they had problems, because I always thought they had come back to do Brain Candy. They come back, like they were always together, but doing separate projects, and would just, oh shit.
Yeah, no, they talk about the fact that basically they felt like they had to make Brain Candy because their model was Python. And so if the show ended, what do you do next? You make movies.
Make a movie.
And they hated every moment of Brain Candy, every single moment of it.
No, really?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. And that kind of ruined the group. And so they had to, that's why there was a long gap until they came back to start doing the live shows. And that kind of repaired them as a group, was doing the live shows. It's amazing. It's a really good doc. I'll stop talking about it because I just want people to go see it. It's a really, really good documentary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Martin McKinney fan from all the stuff he did, but I mean, I love the original Kids in the Hall, and wish Daniel would watch it so he could come back and share some of his favorite sketches.
Again, it's on my Plex. I just gave you access, Danny. So, well, the other thing that blew me away is, speaking of Mark, out of all the kids grew up in like suburbia, right? Except Mark McKinney. Mark McKinney is the son of ambassadors. Yeah, they talk about how in the group, he was always the one that talked to Lauren Michaels, because he could talk that kind of like more like stuffy language. It's fascinating. It's really good. It's a great documentary.
Get that on your Plex server, please.
I'll try. Yeah, it's if I could just like it bugs me that all this is locked behind Prime right now. Like, at least if Amazon went and said it's on Prime, or you can just buy it in VOD, like you could still get access to it. But no, it's like you've got to pay them like $140 to get access to. Yeah, exactly. So
Amazon will not get money from me anymore. Done.
Totally understand. So. But yeah, if you've got Prime, go see it. Otherwise, I'm sure they will release it at some point.
Always check out The Kids in the Hall. You will find something weird and funny that you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Back to me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, I just wanted to drop in the actor's name. Your mind's gonna get blown here, Josh. The actors that were in the Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker. It was also called Night Warding. Jimmy McNichol was who I was trying to think of. That was Christy McNichol's brother, who was huge.
Okay.
His girlfriend in the movie is Julia Duffy from Newhart.
What? Yeah.
The school
How did
bully.
they get Julia Duffy? Sorry, go ahead.
And she's topless in it. She's like, yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
Bill Paxton plays the school bully.
No.
Very young Bill Paxton.
Wow.
But the star is that Susan Tyrrell who plays the crazy mom. Again, I'm just going to keep pimping that movie because that was so batshit crazy. I loved it.
Is the title meant to be a riff on Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? Like, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know why they changed the names. They're just, both of them are not good names for what the story's about. But on Hulu, they dropped a new movie called The Requiem. Have either of y'all seen this?
I've seen it on my thing. I haven't watched it, but it's cool. It keeps telling me to watch it, though.
It's Alicia Silverstone, who I'm a big fan of. I was like, yeah, because I hadn't seen her in a long time. I think she had done a sitcom back in the day where they had like reunited her with Jeremy Sisto from Clueless, where they were like,
oh wow,
yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the series, but she and her husband, it's a rough watch. I'm going to go ahead and put it out in front. This is a couple that has gone on vacation because she has had a miscarriage or a birth at home. I mean, they show the birth at home that she does in the bathtub, and they flash back to it, and it's just her sitting in a pool of blood. So it's pretty fucking disturbing.
God.
And that's what she's trying to get through. But the majority of the movie is just survival. They're on this incredible vacation. They're in one of those getaway houses that kind of sits on the water. And then a storm comes and just trashes the whole place and takes that entire building out to sea.
Oh my God.
So if you saw like Deep Water, this is Deep Water, but in a vacation home. They're just floating out in water trying to survive. So,
wow.
And of course, you know, like they go through everything that you see in all the movies, Castaway and shit like that. They're trying to signal planes, they're signal boats, there are sharks. I'm not going to give it away, but I will say the ending was super disappointing. Yeah. So that's kind of what they're in, is that shack that's just floating on water. She's great. Like, you know, like she's just always an actress that you see on screen that you kind of like, oh, you know, it's Cher from Clueless. You kind of get that point. She's always happy and everything. This movie, she is so depressed, so fucked up, and has to find like her survival mechanism. And she does, but really the ending, man, was such a bummer. I was just like, and then just kind of turned it off and didn't give a shit. So if you like that kind of survival story, be prepared for, yeah.
I knew that was
our
coming.
Batgirl. She was our Batgirl. But didn't really lose a beat acting wise. She was really good in this. When she has to crash and just let it go, she does. But man, that ending. Ugh. I don't want to give it away, but I don't want. I don't know. I don't even know what
Do
to
you
say
think
about
are
it.
you saying people should go watch it or they shouldn't go watch it?
If you like her, I say go watch it just to see her performance
Okay.
and some of the stuff they go through. If anyone is happy with the ending, I'd really like to know why.
Yeah, theoretically.
But yeah, I saw that on Hulu. I think I put on my list that we tried to watch Under the Rainbow from 1981. Could not find it anywhere. You could stream it online. And so I was like, oh, I have a Roku account. Well, Roku is tied with Vudu now.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, you need to create a Vudu account. I was like, no, I don't. Because that's Walmart, and I'm not going to give them money. So fuck you. And so I was just so pissed off. We couldn't find a DVD or even a VHS copy in all of Half Price Books.
Weird. That's so bizarre.
Well, it's not an appropriate film now. I mean, it's just it portrays people in the worst light. But it was a film I'd grown up with, and it's a very odd one, so I really wanted to revisit it. Oh, I'm sorry. I went on to the next one. If you want to go on next, Daniel, I just have one other film or one other show left.
Now you want to finish your shows because then that way we could just do comics in the last round.
Sure. Anyone watching the Orville New Horizons?
I want to, but I only ever watched the first season, so I don't know if is it a good jumping on point, or do I have to catch up?
You can jump on, or you can
Okay.
watch the second season. I recommend the second season because it gives you a lot of the backstory. It's really weird to explain the first episode. Essentially, Isaac is their robot. He's their data, on the ship. And in the first episode, because he is a Krylon, in the second season, Krylons were attacking and destroying a lot of the, I want to say Federation, but whatever their group is called in the Orville. And he is still serving on the Orville in the third season. And so it's like everyone hates him. Like,
wow.
Yeah. And so it's an AI that's dealing with hate, and he commits suicide.
Oh my God.
And it deals with the humans dealing with the suicide of a robot. And it's just kind of really out there. I mean, it's an interesting episode. It's over an hour. It's like an hour, 5 or 10 minutes. So it does a little longer than most shows. But I think that Seth has figured out, like, I can do any length of episode I want because nobody's putting in commercials and shit.
It's Hulu. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's Hulu. So it's a pretty heavy episode, but it was really good. And then the second episode focused on the doctor a lot. And, well, I mean, the first one kind of does too, because she was in a relationship with Isaac. The second one as well is the doctor, and they go to an alien planet where other aliens go, that's where the demons are, and you will become possessed. And the Orville does a scientific explanation of what can cause you to become a demon. Like they create, like they kind of come up with this concept. So, I mean, it was hard not to put this as the recommendation of the week because it was so damn good. I mean, everyone on both shows, they've cut back on some of the humor.
Good.
And they dedicated the season to Norm, because Norm Macdonald did the voice of one
voice
of the characters.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And his performances are in the episodes.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Wow.
He was a little blob or something.
Blobby guy. Yeah.
So he does show up in the show. Again, I had Paramount and tried to watch some of the Star Trek that they're cranking out now and didn't really dig it. The Orville gives me the vibe of Next Generation when it was fresh and out, and I was eager for each episode. I mean, I'm talking like season 2 and 3 when you're into it. I'm digging it. I mean, he does better Star Trek than what Paramount's doing in my eyes.
Did you finally check out the Strange New Worlds, or do you hate Kyle?
No, I went to
Kyle.
I actually was looking at the Orville and Strange New Worlds, and then when I went to the Plex server to see what episodes were available, it was just the pilot, so I couldn't even get caught up on it. So I was like, I'll just check out the Orville. There's only 2 episodes, and then I was just sucked in. Like they're recovering from what happened in season 2, which is this big battle with the Krylons, and I mean they just flesh out the characters really well. Even the kids. The Doctor has two kids on board that have a lot of moments and a lot of serious dramatic scenes. I mean, especially one of the kids who has to talk about Isaac, because Isaac was, I don't want to say like a stepdad, but he was like a mentor to this kid. And again, you know, the Orville's great Star Trek, and I think it's becoming something better and bigger than that. So I definitely say check it out.
Cool.
That's good to hear, because I only began to dig season 1 as McFarlane began to realize the humor ruins the show. Like when it just becomes serious sci-fi or Star Trek, it's good. It's really good. And so I'm glad to hear it. They're kind of like, yeah, we don't need I mean, people expected it, right? It's Seth MacFarlane. It's got to be funny. So I think he had to kind of like lean into it in the early episodes, but it always just felt so forced.
So it was really, it would be like serious moment and then a funny joke that was kind of crowbarred in. I think they had a few jokes in here that were just kind of part of the conversation, so it seemed to flow a lot better. But yeah, I don't remember any specific big gag.
Nice.
Leonard
Well,
Kim,
we do have in the chat Leonard Kim saying the rules definitely they're different from the previous 2 seasons, but also Leonard's enjoying the Star Trek show, so you can definitely enjoy both if you know that's your jam. So cool.
I am going to check out Strange New Worlds when it's available.
I've heard it's really good. Like people are raving about it. So
yeah, me too. Like my buddy Omar keeps telling me, like, hey, you got to check it out. I know you don't watch Star Trek, but you got to check it out. So we'll see.
I'll check out Strange New Worlds.
Well, I got a couple more things that are movies. So if we all could travel back to 2002, I was.
And why wouldn't we?
I was on TikTok as always, and somebody said like, "Oh, you should really watch this movie, Reign of Fire. It's very underrated, and it's the reason that dragons look like they do now in media." And I was like, "Oh, why haven't I never seen that?" So if you don't know,
my god,
that movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I know. So I had never seen Reign of Fire until yesterday, and then. Listen to this, and for those that don't know, Reign of Fire is a movie about dragons, and they kind of come in the world, and people gotta unite to destroy them. Blah blah blah.
You got
Christian Bale, yeah, exactly.
McConaughey, James McAvoy,
Jerry Butler.
Oh my God, who's the Borg Queen? Alice Krieg. I mean, that's a Homestar lineup or home run lineup.
Yeah, it's really really good. I really like the conflict of like. I don't know. It felt different. I don't know why I had never seen it. I just never had. But if you haven't seen Reign of Fire, it's really, really good. I think I watched it on Hulu. So it's on Hulu if you want to watch it. Once you're done with your Orville and your Star Trek, you can jump on Reign of Fire very easily. So that was a delight. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's just really cool to see like all these people like a long, long time ago when they weren't who they are now, right? I think at this point, Christian Bale wasn't Batman yet. Matthew McConaughey was not winning Oscars. I didn't even recognize him in the poster because he's got a shaved head and a beard.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Now, onto newer movies, but we will stick with the theme of giant lizards. Yesterday, I went to watch Jurassic World Dominion, which is the last of the Jurassic Park movies, as it seems.
Oh, it
And I
will be
had a
the
good time
last.
overall. I had a good time overall. Um, I
Can
think.
I
Go
get the
ahead.
cut of the movie without Chris Pratt? Like, just give me the original cast. Can I watch that? Does that exist?
Yeah.
Man, it does not. You would miss a lot of Dallas Bryce Howard if you did that, though. Which
Mm.
All right.
I'll have to sacrifice that. I have a review on Letterboxd if you want to go check that out. But overall, the movie was too long for sure.
Hmm.
It's like 2.5 hours. And I was talking to my brother because we went to watch it yesterday. Like, there's like a whole first 30 minutes of the movie that don't even have any. It's like just 30 minutes of exposition of everything, and you're like, yeah, you didn't need that. Just drop us in, show us the
Damn. Wow.
dinosaurs, show me the dinosaurs. That's why I'm here. I want to see the fights. I want to see them run around from stuff, and yeah, I want to see the original cast. And it was really nice to see, like, everybody kind of coming back. We had seen what's his name, Jeff Goldblum. He had been back for one of them for like a minute. It's
With the third
literally
one.
like a 30-second scene in the last one. Yeah, when it comes to Jurassic World Dominion, the audience is right. The critics are dead wrong. I think this is definitely a movie that was for the audience because it's not. I don't think it's a well crafted movie, and by that I don't mean that it doesn't look good. The movie looks great. Just the story is very convoluted because they really. It feels like you really try to smash two different movies in together, and you kind of let it fit. Like, however it fits, that's kind of what they showed us, which is also part of the reason they made it really long. There was a subplot about something else happening. I was like, is this a prequel to Interstellar? What are you setting up? Um, yeah, by that I just mean about the part of the blight destroying Earth. So, not so much the the
Time
fourth
travel.
dimension weirdness. Yeah. Um, so if you are a completionist for Jurassic Park stuff, I think you owe it to yourself to go watch it because it is the last one they're making for now until somebody else takes the franchise. If you're a big fan of people going like this, uh, then go watch it. There's a lot of that.
I'm not. I'm not a fan of that.
But yeah, other than that, it looks cool. It's got some really fun sequences, but it's definitely it's too long. That was my main complaint, that it's too long. It doesn't need to be.
See, the magic of Jurassic Park is seeing the dinosaurs, the introduction. That music, when you hear that music,
Yeah.
is you're entering the park. Every movie after that is about killing dinosaurs. and when you had the scene in the last Jurassic World where you're just drowning dinosaurs, what kid is enjoying that movie? Like, that's
Kids
the
are
problem,
weird.
is it becomes a survival movie and a horror movie as opposed to this, like, incredible first movie where you're introducing them and you're just trying to survive at the end. The rest of them are all about survival.
See, I like all the original ones. I like Lost World. I like whatever the third one's called. Like, I like those.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
even
I have those three, but it's good, it's okay, and it's tolerable. Like, it's that
actually
they
I like
continue to
the
get
third
poor.
one better. I like the third one better than the second one. The whole thing, like, let's go back to the island, and then the kid gets lost in there. Like, that whole, I mean, William H. Macy is showing up. It's William H.
Yeah,
Macy and Taylor Leone. Like, they really bring this whole, like, desperate parents. And there's some layers of, like, oh, they're not really rich people. Like, they kind of trick, Alan into coming back. And that's really gonna fuck everyone up. So I like that one a lot more than the Lost World, which is the where they bring a T-Rex into, like, San Diego or something.
yeah.
Um, so that one's not as good. But and then I think the first one of the new ones, I think it was just called Jurassic World. That one's okay. I think it's got some stuff that they also. I don't know. I feel like they just make these last few movies too longer than they need to. Like, the last three, they're just very long. But I did have a pitch for the next one where they could go, because I think the storyline has been all about, from the beginning, us, the people, humans, messing with genes and stuff, right? So in the next one, the next logical step It's a fucking human dinosaur hybrid. I mean, if you watch the last one, and spoilers for the one previous to this one, they cloned a human. So, like, this is the next logical step is for us to make a dinosaur hybrid.
So what you want is basically ultimately to get to Jurassic League, right? Like that's your like
Yes.
Zack Snyder presents Jurassic League.
Superpowered human dinosaur people who kick the shit out of each other, and their moms all named
exactly.
They could do something cool, like like these people get cloned, and now they are all like outcasts of society. And look at that, like make it about how people discriminated against these new hybrids.
Well, I definitely recommend going through the history of the Jurassic World movies and looking at the rejected clone stuff, because they have talked about like inbreeding different animals and doing a whole Island of Dr. Moreau type thing. So there are rejected dinosaurs that are in some of that production art that are amazing.
Oh yeah, and this one too. Like that's the main thing I love about these movies. Like, see, I don't know how accurate these dinosaurs are, but they look cool on the screen, and then they fight each other because somebody's always gonna fight a T-Rex, because we need to show that the T-Rex is the coolest one of them all. That's why they use them as the logo. And then obviously raptors, because the raptors are like I feel like raptors are like the jack of all trades of dinosaurs. Like they could just do whatever you need them to. So,
open doors.
But it's weird too, because they use them in a nostalgic aspect of like, oh, you remember the spitter, you remember Blue. This one has a name.
Yeah. One of the funniest things was I've been seeing a lot of ads for Barbarol, the shaving cream, and they have like these different 6 collectible cans that you can get. I'm like, how? The original movie only had 1 can. How do you have 6 different ones?
Because you are about that money. You got to market to everyone. You're selling shaving cream for a kids movie.
Right, exactly.
This will be the only spoiler I give for the movie. You see the fucking old shaving can in the new movie.
What? Where? On the island?
That's all I'm gonna say.
It should just be rusted and falling apart. It shouldn't exist.
I think that shaving can's been in at least 3 movies.
What a weird... when I think cameo from the original film, I didn't think Barbasol can. I mean, like...
They got the 3 actors and the Barbasol can to come back for this last movie.
And I know BD Wong's in it, right? Because he's been in this newest one.
BD Wong's, I think, also been in the most movies, I think, out of all of them. Like, because he's in a lot of the original ones, and he's definitely in all the new ones.
Because I did read that Sam Neill recognizes him from the tour of the first movie. He's like, well, I know you.
He's also a very well-known geneticist in the world of. I mean, they're both in kind of the same field, so it'd be weird if they didn't recognize each other.
Oh, okay. I just figured that he was a guy who worked for them and continued to work for them.
One thing that happens in Dominion, everyone knows who Alan and what's the name of Laura Dern's character. And also the 3 original cast members, everyone in the world knows who they are. They are world renowned in their fields because of what happened in Jurassic Park, which makes sense. Like that's actually, I was like, oh, that's not a big leap in logic. Now I don't know if everybody should know who Pratt is, but I mean, but
he was obviously the failure of security on the island that has now caused this movie to happen, right?
I mean. The main villain's always greed in these movies.
I know, but you always put a guy in charge of security that has to fail for these movies to happen, and Chris Pratt was that guy, right?
No, he was a whole different. It's a whole different. You can't even guess the plot of this movie. It is that weird. So yeah, maybe one day. I'm sure it'll come to Paramount Plus at some point or something.
I have nothing to offer to this conversation, but I can't stop thinking about how excited Barbasol Can's agent must have been to get the call for this movie. So.
Yeah, they definitely went Godzilla v Kong towards the end. Dr. Ellie Sadler. That's what it is. Thank you, Larry.
Oh, Ellie.
There.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shit. Yep.
Points.
I will say, try to go when there's not. We went to I didn't realize it was going to be so packed, and it's not an issue that of, like there's being a lot of people there. I think everybody was pretty well distanced either way, but it's just like people running back and forth in the stairs, and yeah, it was not the best theatrical experience as far as like. I guess it is a kids movie, so I would expect because it's so long. Like kids can't hold it that long, so like every
can't.
10, every
I'm in
10
my
minutes,
late
yeah,
40s.
I can't either, but I don't run down the stairs. You know, I try to be
Jesus.
quiet as I exit the theater. But all right, Josh, let's do one last round with comics. I see you got a bunch of comics. I know Clay's got a bunch of comics, and as you guys saw on my Instagram or Twitter, maybe I didn't post it, but I bought comics by the pound this week, so plenty to talk about.
Well, I bought. Holy crap! I bought a bunch of comics this week and then had no time to read them except for one. So you guys chime in if you've read these and have thoughts. I picked up Savage Avengers #2.
Hell yeah!
I picked up. Had to get this Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor.
Yeah, I picked that one up as well. Peach Momoko.
Love this cover. Yeah, love it. Stuff I am currently reading. Twig #2.
Yes,
I'm
I haven't
starting
read
to get
it.
an echo.
Yeah, there is an echo. That's weird. Is it me? Hello? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't get it now.
Okay, cool. All right. Nope, I can hear it now.
I'm still getting it.
Okay, it's probably me. Give me a second. You guys keep going.
Okay.
Okay. Bellet and Valeria, issue #2. By, again, Max Bemis. Really interested to see where he goes with this. But again, I haven't read any of these. And then two that I want to give a shot. One is The Ward, #1, which is an interesting concept. It's like ER meets sci-fi fantasy world. So kind of interested. It's a Dark Horse comic by Cavan Scott and Andre Puntz. And apologies if I said
that one I did read. Feel
What'd you
free to go
think?
check out the review on the channel. But
Okay.
I liked it. I like the premise. Cavan Scott, he's been doing some really fun stuff with the High Republic, so it's nice to see him on a book that's not Star Wars.
Right.
So yeah, very very enjoyable issue overall. But yeah, you can check out our full review on the channel.
Okay. And then this I picked up because I'm a giant, RPG nerd, and I could not pass up this alt cover. Quest Aside. It's a Vault comic. I don't know. It looks like a humorous kind of fantasy RPG comic, and so I am on board for that.
Issue 1?
Yeah.
Is that issue 1? Oh,
Yep.
okay, because that came out a little while back. I did read it. I enjoyed it as well, so I'll be interested to see I enjoyed it enough that I'm going to read it when it's done, not that I would follow it monthly. So let me know what you think, Josh.
Yeah, I'm
Great
kinda
cover.
curious. I know. Isn't that awesome? Like I saw it on the shelf and I'm like, well, I have to get that. The only comic I read this week, The Rocketeer, The Great Race, issue 3. I have got to applaud Stephen Mooney for this book because it is so good.
Cool.
And the thing that I like most about it is he gets what makes The Rocketeer originally so great is not him putting on the rocket and flying. It's the characters.
Yeah.
Daniel's like, I don't know, but
I mean,
I feel
that's a big part of why I like The Rocketeer.
I mean, no, me too. Don't get me wrong, but it's like this feels more like, and I say this with like the highest praise. This feels more like watching the movie than reading the original comics because when they revived The Rocketeer, when IDW brought it back, I feel like so many writers doubled down on the pulpiness of it, which is fine, is great. But this is issue 3. And except for the first couple pages of issue 1 and the last couple pages of issue 3, this book so far has not had him put on the rocket pack.
Oh, wow.
It is very much about Cliff is a pilot. It's very much about his and Betty's relationship. It is a solid story, and it's a compelling story. It's really, really good. And now the way issue 3 ends, very much is going to be a lot of rocketeering from this point on. But it's fantastic. It is a great book. The art is good. The writing is solid. The storyline is great. Like, I'm so happy to read a good Rocketeer comic that doesn't feel like it needs to pull from other things or just give you like short little stories, right? Like to give you a really in-depth long story. Fantastic. Highly, highly recommend it. So
can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Does the rocket get welded to his back like Dr. Octopus?
It goes into his like neurological center. No. But I do want to point something out. You get this rollicking issue, and then this is the very last page. See you next month. Right there in the foreground is the rocket like busted to hell. And I'm holy crap, what's going on? So yeah, it's amazing.
Talk about selling your books by the cover.
Yeah, I know, right? I actually, it's funny. I haven't bought a single alt cover of this because every cover that comes up, I'm like, I like the standard cover. Like, that's what I want. Cool. Yeah, I mean, this cover is great. Like, it just brilliant design. So, and this
they're
cover
done by Mooney, right? They're also done by Mooney, the cover?
No, actually, Mooney did the alt cover this month. Okay. This one was by Gabriel Rodriguez. And cool. Just a solid cover. So really good.
Great actor. Cool. All right, Clay, I'm going to step away for a second, but you guys keep going here.
Okay. All right. Well, then I will touch on some non-Morbius books until you get back so we can talk a little Morbid.
Morbid time.
Oh, yeah. This week I picked up, I can never say his name.
Oh, my God.
The new Wookiee that we have seen show up in the Book of Boba Fett. And these are the early stories from Jason Aaron and Kieran Dillon.
Oh, cool.
Kieran Gillian with art by Mike Mayhew. Let me get my talking right.
Sorry.
Mike Mayhew and Salvador Larroca. It's fantastic. It actually looks like some of the stuff from this story is in the Obi-Wan stuff. Like there's Obi-Wan encountering Uncle Owen after he dropped off like the rocket thing, but his lightsaber was included in that box. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like he gives him back this box and he dumps it out and Obi-Wan picks it up. But it's really focused on the Wookiee. It's 4 different stories from the Star Wars line. Again, how much I love Jason Aaron and Kieran Dillon. Kieran Gillian does a great job with the character too. It's not a prestige format because I was really curious because it was so many stories and it was very thick, but it is $8 and it's more of a comic book, just a thicker comic book.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, okay. It just doesn't have like the fancy hardcover like the prestige format does.
So is that too? Because I could see like people, adults, kids watching the series, and this seems to be like an accessible way to be like, oh, it's only $8. Go read these issues rather than like a $30 hardback or something.
Yeah, exactly. And normally, what are Star Wars comics like $4 or $5 each?
Yeah,
and
you're right.
4 books for $8. Totally worth it if you just want to like read about this character who is drawn incredibly. Like, I mean, just all the detail and all the shit that he has. I dig it. I just love Wookiees. I mean, if Star Wars just made Wookiee movies and TV series from now on, I'd just watch them.
Well, I mean, they did. It's the Star Wars Christmas special. So.
And I know a lot of the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
Second up is Twig.
Yeah.
This is Scotty Young with Kyle Strawn doing kind of a wood beast creature story, kind of a fairy tale. I mean, he's getting so good at telling all these various types of stories that I think anything Scotty Young does is worth picking up to just go, what genre is he playing with now? Like the last one was the Me You Love in the Dark was this thriller ghost story. Twig just has incredible, beautiful art that takes place in kind of this nature forest area. And it's this character that goes on an adventure. I mean, just a beautiful book. That's the main thing that I love about it. Where's my next one? Then I got from the library, I checked out Rocket Raccoon, Guardian of Keystone Quadrant, the first Rocket story from Hulk to his own miniseries, which is drawn by Mike Mignola.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, if you want to check that out. Old Mantelo did the stories in them. You spend most of the time on Half-World getting to meet Lila, who is mentioned, or she's not mentioned in Guardians of the Galaxy, but when you see Rocket's profile in the first movie and it says known associates, Lila's listed in there. You meet Lila. Nice. Yeah, she's an otter.
I love it.
But in Half-World, you have all these animals that have kind of been turned into, human, they speak English and all this stuff. And so it's a return to that place, and he discovers that, some of the evil animals are still creating these abominations. Yeah, it's an early story. Rocket doesn't look anything like he does now in the comics. He has space sandals. For some reason, he only needs a helmet for oxygen, but a lot of the rest of his body's exposed to space, and they don't explain it. But it's just fun. It's weird to see the Hulk being the first character that Rocket interacts with, and Rocket has just the weirdest background. Like, I'd love them to kind of have him do this as a solo story, because it has his enemies are killer clowns and dark bunnies.
I love it. I love it.
So. I picked up a bunch of other stuff from the library that I haven't gotten to yet because we saw a new casting for the Old Guard. They're bringing that back on Netflix, the Charlize Theron show. I went ahead and picked up the graphic novel. It's a Greg Rucka book. Metal Men, Duncan LaRoe. This is Duncan. Yeah, Duncan LaRoe, who I love his art, did this book. I haven't had a chance to read it. And then I'm still on my Thor bullshit, back up to the 4th volume, The Last Days of Midgard. So I will get to those this week. And then one serious book from the library, Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, very cool. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it was in the news section. So I didn't know it existed until I saw it on the wall. So I grabbed that. And then I went through my Morbius collection to find a good Morbius story to go with that shitty film I watched.
And you came back empty-handed. No,
I very much came back empty-handed. I have 3 volumes of Vampire Tales, and I honestly only got through part of volume 1, but I had like a Morbius comic from 2013 when they tried to crank it out during the Marvel Now move. Just, good art, boring story. I feel like maybe Morbius is a sidekick. Morbius is not a lead dude. I think he works better when he teams up with Spider-Man, because that's a weird team up.
Right.
But Vampire Tales, like, one of the first stories is a Steve Gerber story, and I love his stuff. And it was just kind of like, I'm battling with this sickness, yada yada yada. Like, I just want to see some cool vampire shit. Like, it just is like this inner turmoil, constant battle, and there never seemed to be, like, I'm going to continue through those. And it's the easiest way if you want to find Morbius comics. If you love the movie, or if you want to read about more Morbius, there's Vampire Tales volumes 1, 2, and 3. Unfortunately, I don't have them physically, so they were all Comixology reads. So that kind of turns me off after reading them for a while.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the comics I read this week.
I was working on after I watched the Morbius movie. I was working on a video. No, I didn't rewatch it. I haven't rewatched it. I probably will at some point. Just to kind of keep the Morbius sweeps going,
You're the hero we need, Daniel, not the hero we asked for.
I'm the reason Sony put this shit back on the movie theaters.
They're gonna do it for a third time, aren't they? Like I
don't
I
think,
thought I
haven't
read
heard
somewhere.
anything, but they shouldn't. They
Oh, okay.
Not after that second time because they didn't even draw like $1 million from the second
I
release.
know.
did
They
they?
got like,
I know.
it was like $84,000 or something. It was some very low number.
That
But
movie's
like
so
Kim
bad.
says, it's always Morbin time, so you don't need an occasion to watch Morbius.
I mean, Matt Smith is totally wasted in this film for one. Like I don't
But he's
like
having a good time.
He's having a good time. He's dancing. He's healthy vampire. I will say the cool stuff I did enjoy were the fights. How they kind of had them like fly and fight, but they were also transformed a bit, and that's about it. Like there's nothing else really worth watching in this film. Even the origin, how it's distorted from the comics, doesn't matter. You don't care. It doesn't make the characters any better or worse. I mean, what did you enjoy? What were your highlights of that? I'm just searching for something.
Just how dumb the movie is.
I mean, and even the end is like you're thinking, oh man, when will this finally end? And they kind of like have that thing at the end, and then it's like, boom, it's over credits, and it has the worst end credit scene too. Like those are just fucking terrible.
I actually kind of enjoyed the visuals. I thought that was all really cool. The scenes where like the scene on the boat where here, and I was. The reason I brought that up is because I was going to put together a Morbius video on like some comics to read, but there's not a lot of good stuff out there. But yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoyed the first fight on the boat's pretty cool. And then just kind of like, and I like I like Matt Smith and Jared Leto kind of acting anytime they're together on the screen. I think that's really
true.
Good.
They do have good scenes together.
And the movie's
as
quick.
Friends and as enemies.
Yeah, and the movie's just very quick. I enjoyed how little Tyrese ended up being in the movie. I thought that was funny. Because
I was like trying to figure out him and Al Madrigal. I thought, okay, so they're going to be like, he'll be the straight cop, he'll be the funny cop. And then they didn't do anything with them. They gave them like maybe a page of dialogue. And I don't know what they told Tyrese other than you're going to be the tough cop. Like he walks into the first room and he's like, give me the room. And I'm like, you're Tyrese. You're in the Fast and Furious movies. You're playing a cop that we're supposed to give the room to? Like, I just got no feeling of authority from him whatsoever. No comedy from Al Madrigal, who is that dude was on The Daily Show. That dude's hilarious, and they wasted him.
Yeah, I do like that he comes in with the holy water into the interview room and stuff. There's little hints of like, oh, maybe his character was funnier, and they just cut it. You can tell tons of stuff got cut out of this movie for whatever reason. But I will recommend this one. Morbius the Living Vampire was published in 2019 by Vito Ayala, Marcelo Ferreira, and with really cool covers by Ryan Brown. I really like this. It's like a 5-issue miniseries, and maybe I'll end up doing the whole video because I already have this. It was all prepared, but then I was like, man, this feels like there's so little of Morbius comic that is good.
There's so little, and the other problem is a lot of the stuff. Morbius actually came out because the Comics Code had taken off vampires, but they did a lot of it in the magazines. So you have to find the magazine reprints to find those stories, and usually, like the Vampire Tales, are where they're collected.
One of the funniest things was. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Oh well, no, you go ahead and then I'll chime in.
I was just gonna say one of the funniest things that I was putting together the video is that I forgot that in the 90s animated Spider-Man show, they gave him these like suction cups things in his hands because he couldn't suck people's blood like normal vampires. Because he would drain their plasma. That's what he would do.
Oh,
it sounds more scientific than it is, but plasma is still in your blood.
Right, exactly. So, yeah. They're just not saying the word blood.
And I'm sure on a kid's cartoon, you don't want to see a guy grabbing another guy's neck and start drinking blood.
Maybe you do.
So here's what I can't figure out about Sony, right? Sony is desperate to just squeeze every last bit of juice out of the Spider-Man franchise that they have. I know that they have the rights to. Both of you, and I will confess, I've maybe come across Morbius in like a Spider-Man comic in the 80s, right? So I've not read a lot of Morbius. Both of you who've done the research are like, there are really no good Morbius comics. And Sony's like, let's make a Morbius movie. Like, how do you go from Venom to Morbius when there's all these other characters in the Spider-Verse?
They want a Sinister Six. They want a Sinister Six so bad. And that's what the extra scenes are. And the extra scenes are just wasted because it's like you have spoilers if you haven't seen the additional scenes for Morbius. 3, 2, 1. Michael Keaton is in prison. Rise up, Morb Nation.
Right.
Michael Keaton is in prison, and he just looks at himself as he starts to kind of change. And you can feel that he's like, because they show the cracks in the sky, like the from Doctor Strange, that the multiverse is opening. So he leaves the one universe and he ends up in the Morbius universe. So apparently the Morbius universe is different than the Spider-Man universe that Vulture was in, which is an MCU. Christ. So he shows up here, and that's all that happens in the scene is he just kind of leaves, and they tell the story of Adrian Toomes appeared in a cell that should have been empty, and so they free him. That's like a whole extra scene that you're supposed to think is cool, which is not. Then it goes to a whole second scene where Morbius is just driving in the dark and stops in the middle of like, is it a desert?
It looks like an Acura ad.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, it could have been Matthew McConaughey driving a Lincoln, but it's Jared Leto, and he drives out in the middle of the dark, and he kind of looks at a map like a GPS, and so he stops, and he gets out, and he just looks into darkness, and you're just like, this is the stupidest fucking buildup for nothing. In flies Vulture. So Adrian Toomes, he has all his gear in this new universe.
What?
Somehow. Yeah, that's the other thing is you're like, how the fuck did all this gear showed up if he moved? And he goes, I don't know how I got here, but I feel a lot of it has to do with Spider-Man, so I feel like we should work together.
Which way has Morbius even met Spider-Man? Does he know who Spider-Man is?
He hasn't, because Spider-Man doesn't exist in this universe. And you're just like,
oh my
God. The fuck? What a waste of Michael Keaton. What a waste of Jared Leto. What a waste of my fucking time.
Oh,
then,
wow.
In the re-release, the hidden secret scene, you have to stay 30 minutes after the movie's over.
Scanning for Morbius.
Just know that this one is gonna stay in the rotation.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, good.
But yeah. Anyways, Morbius sucks. I still had a good time with it. Maybe I'll watch it again. But yeah, I completely agree with everything Clay said, because there's no way it's not a good movie. It is not a good movie.
And I had seen the dancing scene of Matt Smith. I put Matt Smith dancing into my Man Thing video because it's fucking ridiculous. And then I watched the movie, and it's even more ridiculous in the movie. Like, it is like, I used it to be silly, and in the movie they tried to be, I guess, serious, and it just does not come off well.
It was 2000 School.
Oh, fuck. Now, did you look up who the writers were on Morbius?
I think we talked about it when we did our episode about bad movies.
Yeah, because they did Gods of Egypt, which is another. Mm-hmm. They don't have a movie with a Rotten Tomatoes score above like 50%. And I think the 50% one is an abnormality. The rest of them were under 20%.
But I just who at Sony is so horny for the Sinister Six? I mean, who's asking for this? I don't get it.
Let us know who's horny for Sinister Six.
I mean,
Now-
there's even a scene where like they're walking through and he's looking at like these people who are trapped. Is it like in amber or something? You remember that wall of oh shit.
I
Do you
think
remember
you're
what
mixing up movies.
I'm mixing up movies. Okay. Yeah. Because there was
Yeah,
at
I
one
don't
point
know.
I was like, shit, now what am I thinking of?
I don't know. You may be thinking of the latest Obi-Wan episode.
That's what I was thinking of because there's a kid in there. I was like going, let me walk down the hallway and there's like people in amber. And I would go, you could have put in some cool villains, but no, it was Obi-Wan. And they could have put in some cool shit in Obi-Wan too.
Yeah. Well, before I do want to show you guys my comics for the week real quick, and then we'll move on because we are running super long. We'll talk about Ms. Marvel next episode. So we're skipping next week because it's Father's Day holiday, and there's also a convention in Dallas which I might be attending. But we'll see. But yeah, we'll do more of that. So make sure you guys watch Ms. Marvel if you haven't. Josh,
2 thumbs up. It was really good.
I will. We still have to finish Moon Knight. Like, this is how far behind I am. But I know.
It's like reading completely different comics, Josh. One has nothing to do with the other. And this one you can watch with your family, and I think your kid will enjoy it.
Yeah, she's. I mean, we're both super hyped for it. We love Ms. Marvel. Like, we love the comics. We're all in. So yeah.
All right. Well, let me go. This is the pile.
Oh my god.
This is the stuff I'm gonna show you guys. There's a whole other pile that I bought that is not part of this.
Variants.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm actually showing you the main variants. I'm not showing everything. That's just like an ongoing, except for this, a few things. But Thor, still fucking that one. banger. I love the series so much, and this crossover with the Hulk has just been really great. I picked up a few of the Pride issues, the anthology.
I was gonna get that at Zeus, and they sold out like that. Like,
yeah, I can see that. Oh yeah, there's this one's a cool wraparound. Then there's I
like the wraparound
one. There's one more by Jen Bartel with Poison Ivy and Harley, which I also have somewhere. I've been really enjoying this Earth Prime series, which just kind of gives us like hidden episodes of the CW shows, even the canceled ones now. This one's cool because it's about Impulse and Nexus, so like the kids that you met at some point. I don't know if they're coming back or not. I picked up this really cool cover by Jay Lee for the Nubia Queen of the Amazons #1.
I almost got that one, yeah.
And then I picked up a lot of the Multiversity Teen Justice. This is the Robin from that Earth 11. Really cool.
Cool.
I think her name is Talia. So I think in this universe, she's also the daughter of Talia and Batman. But
wow.
Did she have the golden lasso?
No, that thing does just rope.
Oh.
I think that's
okay. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean it's Earth 11, so anything could happen. I also picked up this variant for the Poison Ivy book, the new one that Clay just showed, and the book is really good. It's fucking gory as hell.
It is really good. Like, it's a lot darker than I thought.
And if you haven't read Batman 124, there's a little backup story there that kind of fills you in on it's like a prequel story to this, because Poison Ivy's been through a lot. This is the Nubia Queen of the Amazons. It's another variant by I forget his name. iPhone.
That's fucking awesome cover though.
Yeah, that's a good cover too. There were a lot of great covers for just that one book.
Kevin Wada. Kevin Wada.
I love Kevin Wada's art.
And then, like I said, I picked up a bunch of variants too. This is another for Teen Justice, so you can see all the little heroes. Stupid plastic.
Little glare.
And then this one for Batman 124 with this mech. I just picked it up because it was cool.
Whoa, that is cool.
Detail. Yeah.
That's like a Jeff Darrow style cover. Like who drew that? Oh, don't open it. Sorry.
The artist. Yeah. This variant cover for Dark Crisis #1 with Darkseid holding a leash on Doomsday. Pretty cool.
Wow.
And yeah, Dark Crisis is just being a celebration of like all the random shit DC's done, and I'm kind of enjoying it. This is the Pride variant for Batman 124 with Tim and Batman. There's a lot of really, really fun variants this week, which is why I bought so many books. This is another variant for Crisis, which is kind of it's like
I
a
wanted that
highlight
one.
reel of
Yeah.
all the big events in Crisis.
Wasn't that one also in homage to Perez, the Crisis one?
Yeah, there's some. So the books, yeah, I'll show you in a minute.
Sorry.
So here's the Jen Bartel Pride variant that I was talking about
That's
earlier.
awesome.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I love Bartel's work.
Yeah, now I
So
know
all
none of
the-
you guys can get these, but for any of the ladies that are watching, Jen Bartel has put out Poison Ivy and Harlequin shoes that she's shown her on her Substack. So if you subscribe to her Substack, she has like deals doing all kinds of cool tie-ins outside of comics.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. There's all the DC books this week, and I think maybe next week have this really cool.
Nice.
This is a lot of different artists doing their take on a character that George Perez worked on, including George Perez here, as you can see him. It's beautiful, but you can see all the names of the artists and who they drew on each one. And just going through it, it's amazing. I spent like 30 minutes looking at this and all the, like, I can't imagine putting a picture like that together. Just real quick.
Trigon and Anti-Monitor at the top. They look awesome.
The same Thor that Josh picked up. I want to pimp out this series, Astronaut Down from Aftershock.
I almost picked that up. Yeah,
I have a full review, but it's like this quantum astronaut thing. Like, it's so weird. But let me just show you one page. That
like Interstellar.
Really, I was like, I'm in for this.
Yeah, because he's not traveling in space. He's traveling between dimensions, right?
Yeah, that page where his
that.
skull is coming out of like his body, and like the quantum realm or whatever. It's really cool. And then I picked up this because my shop had it. Sanctuary had this Meow book, and it's like a first issue of like, I've never heard of Merc Publishing, but I was like, this could look something good. Definitely some cheesecake in here. But I mean,
I can tell from
I'm
the
not
cover.
a bird.
Yeah,
I'm not a bird to sweets. And then the last book, Aquaman Andromeda from the Black Label with art by
Black
Christian Ward.
Label. I didn't even
That's
see
beautiful.
that at my shop.
I didn't either.
It's fantastic, and there's just some really cool art inside.
Oh wow!
If you've seen Christian Ward's work, I think you'll definitely enjoy it. But that's about all the stuff. It's hard to read books that are not part of the stuff I'm reviewing or doing just because there's not enough time. But we are reading something really cool for the Dallas Comic Book Club, which I'll just talk about once we actually have the meeting, because I'm really enjoying the book, but I'm not done since we postponed the meeting. I took a break.
I know. I'm so sorry about that, but yeah,
shit.
I need to send that out to reschedule.
Yeah,
because that book is.
Yeah,
good.
I love the book. No, I just said you can't really plan for the fall of democracy. So just
I know exactly.
Schedule our comic meeting around that.
Yeah. It was, for those not in the know, we were supposed to meet Thursday night, but it was the night of the first hearings for the January 6th committee, and so I postponed it. But the book is Jin Wang's The Prince and the Dressmaker, and it is just I kind of went into it blind, and I ended that book just like fully in love. I'm like, this is one of the greatest goddamn books, and it's I think I said, like, it is now in my short list of, if any rando comes to me and says, I don't read comics, what should I read? That is one of two books I'll hand them. Just go read this. Like, it's so good. The art is good, the writing is good. Fantastic.
It was available at my library, so I was able to check it out. I read it in 22 minutes. Like the thing tells you how long it takes. The art was, I want to say it's Disney-esque, but it had elements of, there's a style to it that I've seen before, but it was a fairy tale. Like, that was the most modern fairy tale I've read in a long time.
And even like, I mean, it really truly is like an all ages book that doesn't dumb anything down. The thing that this is such a weird comparison, but I was about like, I would have read it in one sitting, but I forced myself to stop because I wanted to savor it so much. But I kind of wonder if I was getting lots of Bone vibes, and the reason why is just because I wonder if she, like Jeff Smith, trained as an animator, because there's so much character in the way in the expressions, in the way that she's able to just like very subtly give this sort of emotional response. I was like, did she study animation? Like, that's what I was kind of wondering. So
Yeah.
I got that same vibe from Twig.
Yep.
And then when you said that, like, I almost want to say there's a bit of Shel Silverstein art. Like, there's a stylized to it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
so,
that's interesting. But anyway,
all right. So, well, before here, we'll have Morbius take us out of this segment. Let's get into fucking talking about Karl Urban. Man, it feels weird. I want to call you guys to see word so much, but I won't. Karl Urban makes it seem so easy. So what we're gonna do here for the rest of the show, and I don't know how long this will take. Hopefully not too long, since we went so long in the first segment.
We're like 90 minutes in.
I've already listed my whole. That is the order that I put on the sheet. Is the order that I put.
Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is just put. As you guys know, kind of how the tier maker works. We have S tier, which is like the best stuff. A, B, C. You know, kind of go from there. Siri, I don't need anything. Why are you talking? But we're gonna go through Karl Urban's filmography, because it was his birthday on June 7th, and like I said, I've been really enjoying The Boys, and I want an excuse to talk about it. So I figured this was a good chance. I know a lot of you guys have seen probably a lot of these movies, and then just going back and looking at his full career, like, there's so much genre stuff here that he's been kind of doing everything. He doesn't have a lot of DC work. He has some stuff. He did. I didn't include the little Sergeant Rock short that he did recently because it's too recent. And it's just like a DC showcase thing, so it's not a full feature length or TV show.
Odd choice of a New Zealand guy to play Sergeant Rock, an American soldier.
I think he's just got that voice, that gruff voice that he can do.
Yeah.
Right?
So his voice goes all over the place, because when he does Bones, I read while researching this that he did his own Bones impersonation that made Leonard Nimoy cry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I saw that as well somewhere. So let's start with the TV stuff. And I wish Kyle was here, because I know for a fact that he watched I don't know for a fact, but I'm betting that he watched this Almost Human show. It's a police procedural.
I did.
All right, great. Clay, where would you put this?
I would. Goddamn, it's like either an A or a B. The thing is it was a Fox. I believe it was a Fox show, and they treated it like Firefly. It was like dumped on a Friday night. I think it started on Monday nights and then moved to Friday, and then you just saw it kind of peter out. It was a really cool show about a guy working with like an AI dude who was a guy from the Fast and Furious films. And so they're partners, but he's obviously kind of the cranky old guy. I mean, like, he works perfect as a detective type. He knows
Lethal
that role.
Weapon. It's Lethal Weapon with an AI, right? One of them is an AI.
Yeah, and he's the Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Leonard Kim agrees. So I think a B is a good place to leave it. Let's talk about some of the less well-known stuff before, so we can kind of part through that. Now, Clay, once you mentioned this movie, and I'll start everything at a B, and we can move it around up or down. And the consensus, I guess I should have explained. We can either give points based on like how good Karl Urban is on this, or just how good the material on its own holds. In case you don't remember the full Karl, because Karl Urban's, even though he's in a lot of these movies, he's not like the main character of a lot of these.
Right.
Right. So The Loft, a quick synopsis. It's like these five bros have this loft where they have an affair, and they share this loft. It's like their own little secret playhouse. The movie's bad. It's really bad. I wish there was a tier under D.
It's got Wentworth Miller, who played Captain Cold. It's got like a pretty decent cast, but the plot is just, it's just a big hot mess. These five guys share an apartment where they can go have affairs and get away from their family and wife. So you already hate them. and then one of the guys shows up to the apartment and there's a dead woman in it. So all these bad dudes have to get together to kind of figure out what's going on. Good performances. The story's shit. Watch at your own risk.
Eric, what's his name? He's from Modern Family. He's in this show and he's in this movie, and it's like such a weird. He's what's his name from Modern Family? Anyways, whatever. Eric's Stone Street. That's his name, the name of the actor. I love him in Modern Family. He's terrible in this movie. Let's move on to, because I haven't seen this one. So if you guys haven't watched it, I'll take it back off. Did any of you guys watch the live action Pete's Dragon?
No.
Nope.
No. All right. Well, I wish Kyle was here because I know he's watched some of this stuff.
I've heard great things, but I mean, honestly,
I have too.
I didn't even know he was in it until I looked up Pete's Dragon. Or
Leonard, if you've seen it, or anyone in the audience, if you've seen Pete's Dragon, let us know where you would put it, and we'll just put it there for you. What rank you would give it?
Leonard gets a vote for just showing up.
Yeah, and sure. Leonard consumes a lot of. I know Leonard from other Discords and stuff like that, and consumes so much media. I'm jealous of how much Leonard gets to watch. So let's talk about Ghost Ship.
I didn't even know he was in Ghost Ship. That's funny. Clay gives it 2 thumbs up.
I give it 2 thumbs up because I remember it for one thing. There's an opening scene where there is this death scene with cables that is just the best scene in a ton of horror films. It's like one of the best executed death scenes. That's what I remember from Ghost Ship. I don't even remember he was in it, but watch it for that death scene.
Oh, this is another movie from 2002. So it looks like that year's just a blind spot in my movie watching experience.
That could be.
I need to go check that out. So what do you think? Is B okay? Is that, you want to put it higher or lower?
You know what? I put it at a C. I say it's worth checking out. I can't totally 100% say Karl Urban's awesome in it. I just remember a lot of cool death scenes.
All right, cool.
It was 20
Josh,
years
is there
ago.
any of these that you're more familiar with? Let's do one of those. The Star Trek, maybe the Star Trek movies.
Star Trek movies and Dread.
All right, so let's start with Star Trek 1, the new one, the first one of the new ones.
I'm kind of like an A on that one. It's a solid movie, and for as much shit as we give Abrams for how he handled Star Wars, and as much shit as we give him for lens flare, the way that he's able to tie that movie with a whole new cast of playing characters we associate with certain actors, and then tie that in, I thought was fantastic. So I would definitely give that an A.
Yeah,
I would too, because he leans into the Bones voice. Like every other character is kind of done really different. You know, everyone's kind of revamped, and they kind of committed to who DeForest Kelley made Bones as, and I kind of love that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one definitely gets a bonus. This one gets a Karl Urban bonus because Bones is really, really good on this one. So I think I agree with A. While we're on the
if Chris Pine had leaned into a William Shatner, no.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Good.
Well, let's trigger the fan base.
Yeah, boy. I mean, he's good in it. He's good in all of them. I feel like Into Darkness needs to be a C. It's.
I'm going to agree.
You can watch Karl Urban, but you're still watching Wrath of Khan. So
I think so. It gets a bonus because Leonard Kim would put all of them at an A, so it's not going to make it a D. He brings up the average. But I'll tell you this: when I watched this movie, I had never seen Wrath of Khan. I have seen Wrath of Khan since.
Oh, thank God! It's 40 years old this month, by the way. It's just as old as the Rocketeer as a character.
It's amazing. So, but by the time I saw this, I hadn't seen it. So, but I thought it was.
Not see one of the greatest sci-fi films of all time.
Yeah, no, and my buddy Omar, big shout out. He's the one that really tries to get me to watch Star Trek. He took me to a podcast recording. Like these dudes, they do all the stuff. Like I forget the name of the podcast, but they just talk about the TV series, and then on their tour they do different things. And one of them was the movie. So I watched Wrath of Khan for that, and oh my god, it's such a fantastic movie. Like Wrath of Khan would be probably S tier on this one.
Oh
If
shit!
I had to
Yes.
rank it, maybe we should eventually rank some of the Star Trek movies. But yeah, it stays at a C only because it gets a few bonuses from me being ignorant, and then from Leonard Kim pushing on the Star Trek movies today. So let's wrap up the trilogy with Star Trek Beyond.
Never actually seen it. I watched
Okay.
the first two, and that's it.
It's Justin Lin, so I want to give him bonus points because he's coming from Fast and Furious to do this. But this
Mhm.
was Fast and Furious Star Trek. There are like
Yeah.
so much camera
Which-
motion. There's a point where the ship tips up, and I get lost in that entire scene of what's happening.
Oh yeah,
But
This
it
gets,
is better than the last movie. It's not a
yeah.
remake.
This gets a few things for me. I think a B is at a nice place because it's not as good as the first one in the trilogy. It's definitely better than Into Darkness. It gets a Beastie Boys bonus. It gets the only complaint I have is that I wish Idris Elba's character was more of a full-fledged character.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Totally wasted. Like you put a guy on there who, I mean, I'm going to say it. He says it in The Office, like he has an effect on women.
Yes.
And then you put cakes of makeup all over his face that is just indistinguishable. It's like ridiculous as fuck.
I mean, even in Sonic 2, when Idris Elba voices Knuckles, there's fan art of that stuff on the internet. So
So you're saying if I search Idris Elba
No,
and
I'm
Knuckles
saying
on
don't
Google,
search it.
I have to turn on safe search, right? I have to like.
I think Google would not allow you to search that.
It just won't let me finish typing. It's like nope.
I want to put something else on the D category. So let's talk about Priest.
Wow. Okay. So it's been. I
I don't even know what that is.
It's an anime adaptation, isn't it?
I think so. It's this weird
manga?
movie. It's this weird movie with what's his name?
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. Yes,
Oh, okay.
He plays this priest from it's like this society or the church. They hunt vampires, and then he disobeys an order because he wants to track down somebody who kidnapped his niece or something like that. It's really weird. It's not very well done. But yeah, Karl Urban was in it, Maggie Q's in it, Paul Bettany. So like, they had a pretty decent cast. Christopher Plummer's in this as a
Whoa.
Monsignor of the church. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I know that it's just not a good movie.
Yeah,
So
I was
we'll
trying
leave
to
it at a
recall
D.
as much as I could from it, and I really remember Paul Bettany, so I would have put it at a C or a D.
I will put it in front of The Loft because it is better than The Loft. The Loft is just, I would put it lower if we had more tiers.
I have a movie that will be the bottom recommendation.
All right.
If you think you know what it is, pick it.
I think I do. So I will skip it because let's do a little bit more positivity. Let's talk about Thor Ragnarok.
His performance, S, like straight up to the top.
Yes.
He's so good.
Excess.
Bring
so
him
good.
back. Bring him
Yes,
back.
exactly.
Bring back score. Like the movie's great, but his performance in it is also fantastic as Scorch. Like this, he's not a throwaway character in the comics, but he's definitely never like somebody that gets the spotlight on him a lot. He's usually just the right hand of the Enchantress or something like that, like an enforcer.
But he was in the last Beta Ray Bill miniseries.
Well, and I was going to
that's
say, I feel like this is a performance by Urban where he so transcends the character that when he appeared in Beta Ray Bill, I'm like, oh, it's Karl Urban's version of this, right? Like, so absolute nail the top, like so good.
Yes. All right, let's go with one I know nothing about because I've never seen any. I've seen one of the movies in this franchise.
I've never
Born
seen
Supremacy.
any of them.
Clay
Is that the first one or the which one is that
a
one?
sequel?
Those are weird films because it almost has the Star Trek pattern of like every other one is good.
Right.
So
okay.
like the first and third are good. The second, I would almost have to rewatch it to give it a proper rating, but it's something that's not that. it's not as memorable as what I remember in Red.
All right, we'll take it off for now. Leonard Kim, if you're in the chat and you have a ranking for the Born Supremacy, we'll listen to
I would put it at a
sage advice.
I would put it at a C though. I would still put it at a C though, because I still think that series is fairly decent. And if you have to fight through that one to get to the third one, it's okay.
Clearly, Karl Urban doesn't stand out in this movie.
Wow.
All right. Well, Clay, speaking of Red, let's talk about Red. This is the first one.
The reason he's so fucking awesome in this, and this is my second favorite performance of his. So to me, this is S tier. Is him and Bruce Willis fighting in this? I mean, he is the officer sent to get Bruce Willis's character. Bruce Willis shows up at his office, kicks the living fuck out of him, and he's like, I mean, he's 6'1", which is weird because I was like, how am I taller than Karl Urban? But Karl Urban and Bruce Willis have one of the best fight scenes in an office space. Like, just in his office, and then trade barbs back and forth just that are hilarious, like about beating the crap out of an old man, and he's like, oh, so and so trained you? Yeah, well, I trained him, and then we'll just break his arm. I mean, it's so good. Red is nothing like the comic. So if you go see Red and you think it's the Cully Hamner comic, no. Go read that one for fun. The movie is completely different, but I love Bruce Willis, and Karl Urban and Bruce Willis are magic in this.
Well, let's take I know we don't have time for this, but whatever. Let's watch a little bit
of the fight.
Yeah.
Look at baby Karl.
God, he is a baby.
Bad move, Grandpa.
I love the concept of Red.
Oh, God.
Do it, Bruce. Ron McClane kicked the shit out of Bones.
Just so we don't get kicked off. Because of the music.
You gotta mute it. Yeah.
Oh, it's a drop.
Every little while.
That's why I talked over it. So
Oh. Phone to the head. He's fine.
Here it is.
Kordeski trained you. Yeah. I trained Kordeski.
Oh, wow.
His face is so good, though. Karl Urban's face.
Oh, God.
All right. Let's get back to the...
dude, if that doesn't sell you on Red, I don't know what will. Well, actually, I do have a bonus for that. I picked up Red on just the standard DVD at Target. If you watch it with the commentary, they have a real CIA agent do commentary on the track, and he talks about what they really do versus what Bruce Willis's character does in the movie.
Oh, interesting. Right. That's cool.
One of the best commentary tracks I've ever listened to.
Let's put it on his. Let's talk about what I think will be at the bottom. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's not.
I've never seen Doom. Clay's not a fan.
I'm running out of thumbs because that movie sucks.
You know what?
So
I'll say this. It is not as bad as The Loft. Fuck you, Loft.
Yeah. But it should be better. That's the problem. Is like The Loft is what it is, but Doom should be a fucking full-on, action-packed, balls to the walls video game movie from beginning to end, and it sucks.
Doom should know better. All right, let's pick up some speed here. We got only a couple things left. The Riddick movies. I think this is Chronicles of Riddick. You've never seen Chronicles of Riddick?
No, I need to. I know that they're so good. I haven't ever watched them.
It's hard sci-fi.
Yeah,
the Pitch Black franchise is really fun. So, what do you think? A B? I kind of feel like this fits great here on the B.
I almost say A because you take a movie that goes from Pitch Black, which is basically a horror sci-fi movie, to a full
Yeah.
hard sci-fi movie that has like
Okay.
royalty and all kinds of crazy shit in it. But then
And
I think I posted in notes my favorite story from this movie is that Carl Urban, Vin Diesel, during downtime would
oh
play
yeah.
D&D. Who else was in this movie? I forgot.
Oh, it was like Judi Dench or someone, right? Like,
Judy
I
Dench
want,
and oh my god, I cannot remember the female.
I want to be in that game. Can you imagine playing D&D with Judi Dench and Carl Urban
Judi
and
Dench, Tandy Newton, Tandy Newton,
Sandy Newton? That's
Vin
the other one.
Diesel, Carl Urban.
wow, that's
Okay,
amazing.
yeah. Keith David is in this. Yeah, you know what? I agree. Let's bump it up. We'll leave it at A. I agree. All right. Let's talk about one of my favorite movies.
Yes,
Red 2012.
S, straight up to the top,
Right?
man.
Like,
Yep.
not even. And I'm even gonna put it above Red.
Yeah, because here's the amazing thing Urban pulls off in that movie. I know the movie was not a commercial success, but when the only other live action version of that character is Sylvester Stallone, and Carl Urban steps into that suit and plays the character in a way that is faithful to the comics, and fans are like, yes, right? Like that is Dread.
This is all you need. Just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a frown.
I mean,
This movie.
and oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like it was done at a time where we were transitioning into what people want from comic book movies, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But it's an excellent performance. It's an excellent story, and it just really captures. It captures a lot of the feel from the comics, from the but it also changes it and adapts it into a way that it's fun to watch as a movie.
You feel like you're in Mega City. You feel like you're under the threat of law and judgment. And I mean, just the way he moves, everything about him is Judge Dredd. And the coolest thing is reading, I was a fan of the Judge Dredd and Doctor Who as a kid. And so to play Judge Dredd is just a dream come true. And now I'm like going, he should be the next Doctor Who.
Yeah, he should be a doctor.
Wow. That'd be really, really cool. Yeah. Dr. Bones.
Dr. Bones and Doctor Who.
And if you've never seen Dredd, I think the amazing thing about it is, unlike the Stallone movie, which is very much like, we're going to show you Mega City. This movie is like, we're going to show you Mega City and then lock it down. And you're in one building for the whole movie. And what they're able to do with that, and what Urban does with the character in that kind of environment, is just brilliant. So good.
Yeah, I mean, it is the Raid redemption in Judge Dredd. I mean, he's working his way up all the way to the top, and the effects of the slow-mo, the drug that they use is done so well. There's an action sequence where they bust into a room and start shooting people, and you see bullets go through the cheek of people. Yeah. You see everything in slow motion, and then I'm oh my gosh, who plays the villain?
Oh, what's her name? Yeah, thank you.
Is just this is up there with her Game of Thrones performance. She's so fucking mean and evil. I love her. And then when they kind of give her little backstory in there, you're like, oh man, I almost want to see a solo story of her rising up.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. I'm glad we all agree. Now, what about the Two Towers? So he was only in 2 of the 3 Lord of the Rings movies,
which are the 2 I haven't seen. So,
oh my god,
I didn't even know he was in these until like today. Today I learned.
Really? Oh
yeah.
Shit. I know. This pushes you.
I own them. I just haven't watched them yet. Yeah, exactly.
That's so weird. That's such a weird blind spot for you, Josh. I feel like
it's
Lord of the Rings movies. You're the fantasy guy in the group.
I know. I'm gonna take care of it this summer. I'm gonna finally sit down and watch them. So,
all right.
Yeah, it's weird.
Extended edition, please.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's tough because he's good in a good movie, and he's great with a great cast. So it's hard to say like it's just kind of he fits well with what's in there. He's not a dominant character so much as the Fellowship is. I mean, but those movies are still great. So it's like it's not an S. I would definitely say an A, and they both have to. I think they both have to go together.
Yeah, I think we'll put both of these here actually, and I think people will yell at us if we don't put them above Riddick. But I won't put them above Star Trek.
Would they be above Star Trek?
They wouldn't, only because this is a Karl Urban list, and he's more of a prominent character in Star Trek. If it was just a regular like side, if it was just a regular like movie list, then probably yes. Specifically, the Return of the King would be definitely above Star Trek. And actually, let me switch this one around because I do like the Return of the King better than the Two Towers.
Two Towers.
Yeah. All right. Well, the last thing on the list, Leonard Kim agrees. A or B sound good for these. Last thing for this, and I don't know. I mean, the boys. I mean, guys, you guys.
He is Billy Butcher, so it's an S.
It's the S. It's not just an S.
It's the S.
The S. He is so fucking good as Billy Butcher. Makes me angry that people don't watch the show, but I understand why some of them don't, because this show definitely is. It's violent, it's gory, it's fucking crude, and it's unexpected. And I can't wait for episode 6 of this season, which is based on the Herogasm issue of The Boys.
And I hear it will break people.
Yeah, so
I am ready to be broken.
Okay. Well, that's our list for now. We may tweak it a little bit in the future once we get more Karl and stuff. No, you guys don't need to see all this.
seems solid. It's a solid list.
Hold on. You left out a movie.
No, it was not Pete's Dragon.
Pathfinder.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Where would you put? I'd have to reload it. Where would you put it?
I don't know. Put it at an A because I was. This is a movie I still remember, and I was like, "Man, who played that guy?" And I remember looking up Karl Urban and going, "Oh shit, this guy's gonna," because it's weird because I want to say it's based on a graphic novel, but it's actually a film. I think it was filmed in another country, became a graphic novel, then became an American film. I just remember.
Is this not based on the game?
No.
This
is
I
awesome.
wish.
Okay.
But I mean,
Clancy Brown is in this movie.
Clancy Brown's in it. Yeah, like this is like early on. This is like surprisingly one of his big roles early on, and he just kills it, man. Like I remember how someone recommended that film to me, and I was like, I don't know, and then watching it and just being blown away and going, they were right. If you can get if you can pull up the trailer from it, I forgot what the trailer was like. I'd be curious to see y'all's reaction to that. But I highly recommend Pathfinder. It's been a while since I've seen it, so but it stuck out in my head, and his performance stuck out in my head.
Well, we're running a bit long, so we won't do the trailer, but because I do want to get through recommendations. But what I will do is I'll watch this movie by the next episode, which should be maybe in 2 weeks. So we have a little bit of time to watch Pathfinder, and then maybe we can talk more about this. I'll put that as an A and update the list and send it out on our Twitter. But let's try to wrap up the show now.
We're starting to get some static.
You guys don't need to see our notes, huh?
I'm starting to get some static.
I don't.
Oh, weird. For me, I'm not hearing anything either.
Leonard Kim, is there a God
tier?
Tier?
It's gone.
God tier.
Maybe. I think we can customize it. But yeah, if you're watching this later on, leave us in the comments. Where would you put some of these movies? If anybody's watched Pete's Dragon, where would you put Pete's Dragon? Because we've never seen it.
This is called Dragon a Cunt. I want to see that.
I am uninterested in the live action Disney stuff, and then to do Pete's Dragon, which already was live action, it was like I don't know, it's weird. This is weird. So,
all right, let's start with Josh because he has a video for us to watch.
It's so exciting.
Which is the main reason I'm not playing another video, Clay.
Yeah. All right. So I stumbled across this game on the Epic Games Store. It's exclusive to it, and it's in early release, I forget what that's called. Anyway, it's a video game called Myth Force. And I'm not gonna say anything else about it, just play the video because it is beautiful.
Oh, can y'all hear it?
Yeah. I think so. Maybe not. No, I can't hear it.
Hold on. Hold for adjustments. Here,
I love how the background
this
just has
thing.
middle fingers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna be for a while. Let's see. Can y'all
There we
hear it
go.
now?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The realm of Eldred is under siege by the vampire lord Daedalus. Rising up to defy his evil schemes is a band of heroes known as Myth Force.
This is how the game looks. The style of it is 1980s cartoons.
Soldier up. This is our fight now.
This is in-game footage.
Let the hunt begin.
Women love reformed bad guys, right?
No brute can overpower a capable mage.
There's the way forward.
On your guard.
It's amazing.
Only
love this.
fools trespass on my domain. You should have turned back while you still had the chance.
You only
I
draw
wanna-
out your own defeat, Force Lord.
Beware, this will suck for you.
I'd rather face an archmage than an amateur.
This forest is worse than any dark alley I ever saw.
It doesn't matter how hard the path becomes. We won't get through without confronting him. You could never hope to defeat me.
My minions will deal with you.
Don't touch my equipment.
I'd be terrified if I hadn't minored in minions.
We're not getting through this without facing the big guy.
Come on then. Let's finish this.
No more games. Death to all trespassers!
It just
In early access on April 20th. Tune in next time for episode 2.
it just makes me so happy. Now I've
That's
only
awesome.
played it for like an hour or two, but the basic idea is it's a roguelite. So every time you jump into to explore the building and the caverns and such, it's always set up differently, right? Because it's auto-generating it when you go in. But I've only played it solo. It's designed around like up to 4 players, and you each pick one of the heroes when you go in. Holy crap, that game is just really fun though. I mean, it's like, and that's how it looks in the game. It's like all my dreams as a kid of like, I want to play a video game that looks like a Saturday morning cartoon have come true. It's incredible. So
It's what
Yeah.
we wanted when we got Dragon's Lair and Space Ace.
yes, exactly. Oh, that nails it. And it's but you're actually like you're moving in the world. It's not just like hit the button now, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's not a
So,
timing thing.
No. So anyway, that's my recommendation. Myth Force on
Is it
Epic Games
computer
Store.
only or is it console?
Only computer right now. Yeah, only PC. I know. I was kind of bummed because I was going to get it on the console, but it's only on PC. So
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Clay, you have something, so I'll pull it up for you. Oh, you already have it. Let me make you very
Well, no, pull those up. The Art of Drusen, that's actually the collector's edition. I found a copy at the library. If you know who he is, he's done the posters of our lifetime. I mean, he's done so many iconic posters. But the reason for the book is every poster kind of has a story. So he goes through all these cool little moments, and it has an introduction by Frank Darabont, which is almost telling of what's coming. Now, this came out in like 2010, and Frank Darabont says, "I've seen the future of movie posters, and I'm terrified." Because Drew did the best posters ever, and as you go through his history of them, you do get to the point at the end where they would only allow him to do posters if he came in to the office and did them on a computer. and this is a guy who paints everything.
God, that sucks.
And
Oof.
I mean, it's amazing because I won't give all the stories away, but like he's friends with Lucas and with Spielberg and with Del Toro and John Carpenter. Like John Carpenter called him up the night before and said, I'm doing a movie. Have you seen The Thing from Another World? It's basically going to be that. Draw me something and fax it to me. And they took that fax and that became the poster. He's like, that's what we're going to use. Let's flesh it out. And then you have moments where it's like, I worked on 9 comps for a movie and they ended up using the concept and having a different artist do it. You know, so like you hear these great stories of like how like this poster that we've all seen and like the Thing, which is iconic, to stuff that you think he did the poster for. And he's like, oh no, some guy already took my design and they used his art. So as for, you know, the incredible thing, like Harry Potter, he was signed up ready to do all the films. And he said after the first one, they just did computer ones. Like he was like ready to be locked in because he had done all the Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking when you get to the end because he goes, if I ever did movie posters again, it would just destroy me. God, and so he's given them, it's sad, but you see some of the stuff we've grown up with and the beautiful artwork. And then when he even shows like when he paints something and they say like Adventures in Babysitting, he did the poster for that. And there's different versions in the book. And there's like one where like the kid's teddy bear's hanging and they're like, take the teddy bear out. And he shows how like an X-Acto knife used to chip the paint off to get to take it off. It's so detailed, but the stories are the best part. And they're not like full pages. They're just like a few paragraphs that talk about cool things. And just how great like Del Toro is. He goes, when Del Toro would call him for something, he'd work up something and send it to him. And he'd go, that's great. I love it. And then the studio, like in the beginning, he could pick. But in the end, the studios were the ones that are picking the posters and they would turn him down. God, and so Del Toro would buy the poster, take it to Comic-Con, make it a limited edition, and, you know, give him out there, like, you know, and pay him for all his work. So, again, there's stuff in there that never got made. There's stuff, you know, like The Mist. He did posters for the movie version of The Mist that they didn't want to use. Beautiful. I mean, there's not a bad page of art in any of this.
Nice. Cool. Well, I'll just recommend some books, some comics that are coming out next week. The first one is Duo Powerbomb. This is a new Daniel Warren Johnson book coming from Image Comics with colors by Mike Spicer. You guys know I like wrestling and I like comics and I like Daniel Warren Johnson. So this book
this book is in the center of the Venn diagram of things that Daniel likes. So
if there was Batman in here, it'd be like the perfect comic. And the other one of this series that I've really been enjoying, Grimm #2. This is from Boom Studios. If you guys saw, you can go watch my review for Grimm #1. And this week we learned that Stephanie Phillips is doing a book at Marvel upcoming pretty soon, which is great.
Yeah.
Stephanie Phillips,
that's right,
a writer that we all enjoy. So very fun stuff. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. So stay tuned to the channel for more reviews and all that. There's a lot of comic books coming out next week and in this summer. A lot of really big events for all that. So, anyways, that's the show. So, thanks.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Not to end on a downer note, but Julie Cruz passed away. She was the singer, probably most famous from Twin Peaks, who worked with Lynch and Badalamenti on the song. She passed away, and you can go find it. David Lynch made just a beautiful like short like YouTube video kind of tribute to her. So anyway, just rest in peace, Julie Cruz.
Well, I was gonna transition with the boys, but I guess I'll just go
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to ruin stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks, you cunt.
We have to pay tribute to our fandoms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, everyone, have a good afternoon, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. We are very close to 700. A lot closer than I ever thought. So very cool. So make sure to subscribe if you like the show. Like I said, we'll take a break for next week, and then we'll come back at some point. I know Josh is going on a trip, so you may not see him for a little while. We'll see.
Yeah, let's see. 2 weeks.
But I think that's in July, right?
It is. It's like mid-July. So
I'm trying to rope in some of either previous guests or maybe new guests to come on the show. We'll figure it out. And everyone, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Love it. Very extended bird flipping.
Let's ride.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Peter loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay.
Hell, Bebo.
Josh. Simon Center, get the fuck out.
All right.